Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Thyroid nodule imaging reporting and data system. Objectives: 3 proposed Tirad system. Tirad by Horvis at 9. Tirad by Rosital 11. Tirad by Quack at 11. Image reporting and characterization system present advanced at 13. Practical application of SUR consensus, American Thyroid Association guidelines, Tirad by RAS, Tirad by Quack, image reporting characterization system by Quack, and their comparison. We'll see all this in our lectures. Tirad overview. Tirad system is ultrasonographic classification of thyroid nodule. The terminology thyroid imaging reporting and data system was first used by Horvath at 9, drawing inspiration from breast imaging and reporting data system by RAD of American College of Radiology. The goal is stratify risk of malignancy of lesion based on the ultrasound features of the lesion, standardize and simplify the report, allowing effective communication between radiologist, cytologist, and clinician, improve quality of care and cost effectiveness, avoiding unnecessary biopsies. Thyroid ultrasound reporting lexicon. Firstly, we look in normal ultrasound dimension, 46 cm in craniocaudal lens, 1.3, 1.8 in their anteroposterior and transverse dimension. Isthmus normally has EP thickness up to 3 mm. This is thyroid gland, isthmus, strap muscles as we see present anteriorly, sternocleidomycete in both sides, internal carotid artery medially, internal jugular vein laterally, posteriorly esophagus, and this is two loops, and we center see trachea. Now we talk about a lexicon of thyroid nodule imaging. First, category 1, we talk about composition. Definition of composition. This composition describes the internal component of a nodule that's present of a soft tissue or fluid and the proportion of each of them. As we see, firstly, solid nodule composed entirely or nearly of soft tissue with only few cystic spaces is called solid. This is solid nodule. Predominantly solid is composed of soft tissue component occupying 50% or more of the volume of the nodule. This is what's called predominantly solid. As we see, predominantly cystic, composed of soft tissue component occupying less than 50% of the volume of the nodule. This case of predominantly cystic nodules, as we see, with 4.5 centimeter cystic nodule, solid component also present along superior and posterior wall. This cystic nodules. Spongiform, composed predominantly of tiny cystic spaces, clusters of small tiny cystic spaces. This is 4 category of compositions. Category 2, echogenicity of nodule. Definition of echogenicity: level of echogenicity of the solid non-calcified component of a nodule relative to surrounding thyroid tissue. Our measure relative to surrounding of thyroid tissue. This is to judge about echogenicity of the nodule of the thyroid relative to surrounding thyroid tissue, specifically strap muscle. This is hyperechoic nodule, increase the echogenicity relative to the thyroid tissue. Hyperechoic nodule, and this is colloid nodule example. Hypoechoic, decrease the echogenicity relative to thyroid tissue. Hypoechoic nodule, and this is papillary carcinoma cases. A very hypoechoic, decrease the echogenicity relative to adjacent neck musculatures. Relative to neck musculatures, low level of echogenicity in nodule comparing to the relative adjacent neck musculature. Echogenicity means very hypoechoic nodule. In these examples, hypoechoic left lobe nodule. This case of papillary carcinoma. And you compare it to strap muscle, it's more hypoechoic than strap muscle. Isoechoic similar echogenicity relative to thyroid tissue surrounding. So we have hypoechoic, very hypoechoic, echogenic, and isoechoic. Very hypoechoic, echogenicity lower than surrounding neck muscle. Third category is shape, term taller than wider. Taller than wide shape defined as a ratio of more than 1 in the EP diameter to the horizontal diameter when measured in the transverse plane. We find it in the EP dimension, transverse dimension more than 1. By means that EP dimension is longer than transverse dimension. This is taller than wider, and this is one of suspicious sign. And in this case, papillary variant of papillary carcinoma. Category 4 size. How the nodule should be measured. Use maximal diameter on the basis of longitudinal anteroposterior and transverse measurement of centimeter per millimeter. Category 5 margins. Margin definition refer to the border or interface between the nodule and adjacent thyroid tissue. Interface between the nodule and adjacent thyroid parenchyma or adjacent extrathyroidal structure like neck muscle. This category 5 margins. Ill-defined margin, border of nodule difficult to distinguish from thyroid parenchyma. Nodule lacks irregular or lobulated margin. Poorly differentiated carcinoma of this case has ill-defined border. Halo around, this is another sign of branicity. What's mean halo? Border consists of a dark rim around the periphery of nodule. The halo can be described as completely or partially encircling the nodule. In the literature, halo have been further characterized as uniformly thin, uniformly thick, or irregular in thickness. This is case of follicular adenoma. Halo of the nodule is a sign of benignicity. Thyroid tissue follicular adenoma with hypoechoic halo. Smooth margins means uninterrupted, well-defined, curvilinear, e.g. typically forming spherical or elliptical shape. Smooth margins, signs of benignicity as this benign follicular nodule. Irregular margins, this is fourth type of margins, ill-defined, irregular, smooth halo. Irregular, what's mean? Outer border of nodule speculated, judged, or with sharp angles, with or without clear soft tissue protrusion into the parenchyma. Protrusion may vary in size and conspicuity may be present in only one portion of the nodule. Irregular margins, and this is a sign of malignancy. This case of papillary carcinoma. Lobulated border or margins, a focal rounded soft tissue protrusion that extend into adjacent parenchyma. Lobulations may be single or multiple, and they may vary in conspicuity and size. Smooth lobulation referred to as microlobulated. Small lobulations, microlobulations. This is lobulated margin in case of papillary carcinoma. Extrathyroidal extension, nodule extend through thyroid capsule. Extrathyroidal extension, this is sign, suspicious sign, case of anaplastic carcinoma. Category 6, echogenicity, echogenic foci. This is, we talk about thyroid nodule image lexicon. Category 6, echogenic foci. What's mean? Refer to vocal regions of markedly increased echogenicity within a nodule relative to the surrounding tissue. Echogenic foci may vary in size, shape, and may be encountered alone or in association with several well-known posterior acoustic artifacts. This is punctate echogenic foci, dot like foci having no posterior acoustic posterior artifact, and defined punctate foci or microcalcification being less than 1 millimeter. Most authors define these features in the basis of the appearance alone. All authors define this feature on the basis of the appearance alone without size. It defined it less than 1 millimeter. Dot like foci. This is echogenic foci, punctated echogenic foci, and this is case of colloid nodule. Macro calcification, when calcification become large enough to result in posterior acoustic shadow, they should be considered macro calcification. May be irregular in shape. Macro calcification, in this case of colloid, sign of benignicity. Punctate echogenicity in the thyroid nodule, as we see, and this is punctate echogenicity in thyroid nodule, multiple fine echogenicity with no committal artifact in this is image, and this is confirmed as papillary carcinoma. Here, what's the difference? We see cystic areas with punctate echogenicity and the committal artifact, and this is sign of colloid crystals in benign nodule. Here, no committal artifact. Here, this committal artifact. This papillary carcinoma, no committal, with committal colloid crystal, colloid nodule. Peripheral calcification. These calcifications by the periphery of the nodule, the calcification may not be completely continuous, but generally involve the majority of margins. Peripheral calcification dense enough to obscure central component of the nodule. Peripheral calcification, this is case of follicular carcinoma. Committal artifact, and this is a sign of colloid nodule. A type of reverberation artifact, deeper echoes become attenuated and are displayed as decreased weights, resulting in triangular shape. If echogenic focus not have these features, committal artifact should not be described. Committal artifact, colloid nodule. This is scan indicative of malignancy, which see hypoechogenicity, and this is star shape, microcalcification, as we see, marked hypoechogenicity relative to the neck musculatures, and irregular margins, and this is all signs of malignancy. What types of thyroid nodule? Either adenoma, neoplastic, or carcinoma, or colloid nodule. Adenoma, macrofollicular adenoma, simple colloid, microfollicular adenoma, embryonal adenoma, Harsel cell adenoma, atypical adenoma, adenoma with papillary signet ring adenoma. Neoplastic carcinoma like papillary, follicular, medullary, anaplastic. Papillary 75% of carcinoma, anaplastic 5%. Other neoplastic thyroid lymphoma may be cyst, simple cyst with solid tumor, hemorrhagic necrotic. This is cyst or simple cyst. Benign neoplastic cystic solid tumor, hemorrhagic necrotic may be seen in neoplasm. Colloid nodule, dominant nodule in multinodular goiter, most common thyroid nodule. Other inflammatory thyroid disorder, subacute thyroiditis, chronic lymphocytic thyroiditis, Hashimoto's nodule, granulomatous disease. Developmental abnormalities nodule like dermoid may be rare unilateral loop agenesis present as thyroid nodule. Colloid nodule, known as adenomatous nodule or colloid nodular goiter. Colloid nodule are non-neoplastic, non-inflammatory benign nodule occurring within the thyroid gland. They form the vast majority of nodular thyroid disease, may be single or multiple. What is pathology of colloid nodule? Colloid nodular goiter occurs when thyroid gland unable to meet metabolic demand of the body with sufficient hormone production. Thyroid gland compensate by enlarging full thyroid follicle, which usually could overcome mild deficiencies of thyroid hormone. If thyroid gland is then re-exposed to iodine, nodule may produce thyroid hormone independently. Occasionally, nodule may produce too much thyroid hormone, causing thyrotoxicosis is called toxic nodular goiter. So colloid nodule, fate of colloid nodule may be present later on to as toxic nodular goiter, colloid nodules. Colloid nodule, one stage of toxic nodular goiter. Ultrasound appearance of colloid nodule, iso to hypoechoic, may be cystic nodular goiter, may have internal cystic or heterogeneous change, may have calcification, may multiple echogenic foci, precipitated colloid with comet tail artifact. Thyroid stimulating hormone TSH can help differentiate thyrotoxic nodule from an euthyroid nodule. Tirad, Horvis et al. Divide thyroid nodule classification into 6 categories. Tirad 1 normal thyroid gland, Tirad 2 benign thyroid gland, Tirad 3 probably benign thyroid gland, Tirad 4A and 4B, 4A suspicious for malignancy, 4B intermediate suspicious of malignancy, Tirad 5 highly suggestive of malignancy, Tirad 6 biopsy proving malignancy. Each one of them has percentage of risk of malignancy. These examples of Horvath's Tirad 2, which is benign, Tirad 2 either colloid 1, 2, 3, this typical multiple colloid cyst and echoic areas with hyperechogenic spots, type 1 colloid pattern. Ultrasound image of type 2 colloid mixed, non-expansile, non-capsulated, mixed, non-expansile, non-capsulated, structure with a grid appearance, given by isoechoic solid areas and hyperechoic spots. The gland not enlarged. Tirad 2 type 3 colloid type 3 mixed non-capsulated expansile isoechoic nodule with hyperechoic spots and broad septum. Tirad 3 probably benign ultrasound aspect of Hashimoto's thyroid with pseudonodule. Normal size heterogeneous gland with lobulated border, hyperechoic pseudonodule partially surrounded by halo. Hashimoto's thyroid nodule, Tirad 3 by Horvath, probably benign. Tirad 4A benign, simple neoplastic pattern, solid hyperechoic nodule without calcification, surrounded by a thin capsule. There is hypoechoic area with ill-defined border without calcification. Pattern may found in both subacute thyroiditis and carcinoma. This pattern. Tirad 4B, low suspicious of malignancy, suspicious neoplastic pattern, encapsulated heterogeneous nodule with coarse calcification surrounded by a thick capsule. Here in this image we found malignant pattern. Solid hypoechoic, irregular border, ill-defined margins with calcification. Tirad 5B, this is ultrasound image of malignant pattern B. As we see, Tirad 5A malignant pattern A, Tirad 5B malignant pattern B, solid non-capsulated isoechoic ill-defined nodule with salt and pepper aspect due to peripheral microcalcification. Tirad 5C, image of malignant pattern C, mixed isoechoic vascularized non-encapsulated nodule with calcification, no hyperechoic spots. Again, we go to Tirad or by Horvath, we found Tirad 4A suspicious of malignancy, Tirad 4B intermediate suspicious, Tirad 5 divided into two categories highly suggestive of malignancy. These examples of Tirad category according to Horvath: normal, Tirad 2 colloid type 1, colloid type 3, colloid type 2, Tirad 3 probably benign, Hashimoto's pseudonodule, Tirad 4A simple neoplastic pattern benign, Codorvan suspicious neoplastic pattern, Tirad 4B malignant pattern A, Tirad 5 malignant pattern B, and malignant pattern C. Tirad by Quack et al. Tirad 1 negative, Tirad 2 benign, negative means normal thyroid, Tirad 3 probably benign, Tirad 4 divided into 3 E, B, and C, where in Horvath Tirad 4 divided into A and B. This A, B, and C low suspicious of malignancy, intermediate suspicious, moderate concern, not classic for malignancy. Tirad 5 highly suggestive of malignancy. Tirad 6 biopsy proving malignancy. This is suspicious features. Mary Smith by Quack. Marked hypoochogenicity, speculated margins, microlobulated, microcalcification, ill-defined border, thinner than white, non-parallel orientation, hypoochogenicity. Tirad by Russ et al. Divide thyroid nodule into either benign pattern or suspicious pattern. Benign pattern divided into Tirad 2 constantly benign, simple cyst, spongiform nodule, white knight, isolated microcalcification, nodular hyperplasia. Very probably benign Tirad 3, no sign of high suspicious, being irregular shape and border, no microcalcification, and iso or hyperechoic. Suspected pattern divided into Tirad 4A, Tirad 4B, Tirad 5. Suspected pattern highly suspect, thinner than white, irregular border, microcalcification, markedly hypoechoic, high stiffness on sonoelastography. 4A Tirad, no sign of high suspicious, mild hypoechoic only. Tirad 4B 1 to 2 sign, no metastatic lymph node. Tirad 5 3 to 5 sign and or metastatic lymph node. 3 Tirad comparison for each others. Tirad 1 by Horvath, Quack, Russ, same, all normal thyroid gland. Tirad 2 by 3 present benign. Tirad 2 by 3 classification, it's benign. Tirad 2 by Horvath, Quack, both colloid type 1, colloid type 2, colloid type 3. Colloid type 1 anechoic with hyperechoic spots, non-vascularization lesion. Colloid type 2 non-capsulated mixed non-expansile with hyperechoic spots, vascularized grids aspect spongiform nodule. Colloid type 3 non-capsulated mixed with solid portion isoechogenic expansile vascularized nodule with hyperechoic spots. Russ et al. Tirad 2 constant benign simple cyst spongiform nodule, white knight, isolated macrocalcification, nodular hyperplasia. Tirad 2 carry 0% of malignancy, no chance for malignancy. Tirad 3 probably benign lesion in 3 classification. Horvath and Quack present as hyper iso or hypoechoic, partially capsulated with peripheral vascularization in Hashimoto's thyroiditis and Hashimoto's pseudonodule. This is Tirad 3 Hashimoto's pseudonodule. Tirad 3 by Russ et al. Very probably benign, no sign of high suspicious, being irregular shape border, no microcalcification, and iso or hyperechoic. Tirad 4, we start to talk about suspicious features. Tirad 4 4EP present by Horvath. Tirad 4EPC present by Quack. Tirad 4E suspicious 5 to 10% of malignancy. Tirad 4A low suspicious by Quack. Tirad 4A by Horvath hyper iso or hypoechoic. Hypervascularized encapsulated nodule with thick capsule containing calcification, coarse or microcalcification, suspicious neoplastic pattern. Tirad 4A low suspicious by Quack, one suspicious features only. Tirad 4A by Ras et al. Mildly suspect, no sign of high suspicious, mildly hypoechoic. Tirad 4B present in three classification: intermediate suspicious in Horvath 10 to 80, hypoechoic, non-capsulated nodules, irregular shape and margins, penetrating vessels without calcification. Tirad 4B moderate suspicious in quack, two suspicious feature only. Tirad 4B Ras et al. Highly suspect 1 to 2 sign, no metastatic lymph node. Tirad C 4C present only in quack, no in Horvath, no Ras et al. Present as moderate concern but no classic for malignancy through 3 to 4 suspicious features. Tirad 5 highly suspicious more than 80%, highly suggestive, highly suspect in 3 classification. In Horvath, ISO 2 hypoechoic non-capsulated nodule with multiple peripheral microcalcification and hypervascularization, malignant pattern B. In quack, all 5 suspicious features: Mary Smith, highly suggestive of malignancy, marked hypoechogenicity, speculated microlobulated margins, microcalcification, ill-defined border, taller than wide, no parallel orientation, hypoechogenicity. In Ras et al., highly suspect 3 to 5 sign and or metastatic lymph node, highly suspect signs taller than wide, irregular border, microcalcification, marked hypoechogenic, high stiffness in sonoelastography. We see multiple spectrum of image of nodules and we apply Tirad on them. This is normal thyroid gland, Tirad 1 negative, normal thyroid gland, normal textures, no nodules, well-defined border, normal size, normal vascularizations. This is Tirad 2 simple thyroid gland, simple thyroid cyst, as we see, well-defined, no solid component, no internal content, simple thyroid cyst, Tirad 2. This is present Tirad 2 colloid 1, Tirad by Ras et al. Constantly benign, by quack it is simple cyst, colloid 1 also. Tirad thyroid cyst, Tirad 2, as we see, Tirad 2 solid nodule with central cyst not eccentric, central cyst not eccentric, solid nodule within central cyst not eccentric. This is Tirad 2. Tirad 2 nodule with homogeneous peripheral calcifications, Tirad 2 sponge-form nodules, Tirad 2 sponge-form nodule, Tirad 2 clusters of microcyst, tiny cyst, white knight, Tirad 2 as by quack classification, white knight, Tirad 2, as we see by Doppler study. Isolated macro calcification, Tirad 2 macro calcification which have acoustic shadow, large coarse microcalcification, Tirad 2 sign of benign, regular shape, round isoechoic solid nodule with regular border shape, no calcifications. Tirad 3, this is what's called benign by cytological analysis. Tirad 3 Hashimoto's pseudo nodules. Tirad 3 hyperechoic nodules. Tirad 3 slightly hyperechoic nodule with a small cyst and peripheral vascularity. Nodule on figure before correspond toxic adenoma on thyroid scintigraphy, toxic nodule hot spot. Tirad 3 several multiple nodules with same gland with a similar ultrasound pattern, hyper or isoechoic nodule with small cystic changes and small hypoechoic spots as well as microcalcifications and peripheral perfusions. Peripheral perfusion by Doppler study in the thyroid scintigraphy, as we see, this is toxic adenoma, patient with hyperthyroidism. This is a patient with nodular goiter, hyperechoic nodule with a small cyst consistent with Tirad 3, small papillary thyroid carcinoma detected later on after surgery. Before surgery, diagnosed as nodular goiter, Tirad 3, isoechogenic Tirad 3, isoechogenic nodule, moderately heterogeneous nodule, mildly hypoechoic regions, regular shape and border. Tirad 4A, mildly hypoechoic is defined as more hypoechoic than surrounding gland, but less than strap muscle. It's hypoechoic, not very hypoechoic. Nodule classified microvesicular adenoma by histological analysis. Tirad 4A, either low suspicious, Tirad 4A low suspicious or simple neoplastic pattern by Horvath, low suspicious by Quack et al. And Virus et al. Low suspicious. Tirad 4A markedly hypoechoic, normal shape and abnormal vascularity, score of 1, vascularity type. Hypoechogenic nodule, Tirad 4A, hypoechogenic nodule, Tirad 4A, carry 5 to 10% of risk of malignancy. We do FNA for this nodule. Tirad 4B nodule with microcalcification, poorly defined irregular margins. Microcalcification, poorly defined irregular margins. Tirad 4B, this is moderate suspicious. Tirad 4B or malignant type A, microcalcification with irregular margin. Tirad 4B nodule with two sonographically suspicious criteria of malignancy, hypoechogenicity and internal vascularity. This high suspicious or malignant type A by Horvath et al. This is indicated of FNA, fine needle aspiration biopsy. This is isoechoic nodule with ill-defined border and microcalcification, several rounded, sometimes linear, tiny punctates, opposite of granular deposits, no ultrasound absorption below punctations, and no hypoechoic microcavities above seen, as well as no comet tail artifact. Tirad 4B, this is highly suspicious of malignancy. It's classified as papillary carcinoma by histology. This is taller than wide. Tirad 4B have suspicious features. This is irregular margins. Tirad 4B has suspicious features. This is marked hypoechogenicity compared to surrounding muscle. Tirad 4B. Microcalcification. Tirad 4B, as we see this nodule. Tirad 4C nodule with microcalcification, irregular borders, taller than wide shape, greater its anteroposterior diameter than in its transverse diameter. Tirad 4C hypoechoic nodule of irregular margins, taller than wide shape. Tirad 5 hypoechogenic nodule with microcalcification, poorly defined margins, with perinodular tissue invasion, taller than wide, presence cervical lymph node, high suspicious of malignancy. Tirad 5. Tirad 5 suspicious hypoechoic nodule with round shape and abnormal vascularity. This is thyroid nodules example classified according to three classifications. Thyroid nodule 1.7 cm mixed solid and cystic isoechoic circumscribed vascular wider than teller no microcalcification. Orientation American Thyroid Association ultrasound feature thyroid score mixed solid cystic hypervascular more than 1.5 to 2 centimeter recommendation biopsy by Society of Radiologists mixed solid cyst less than 2 centimeter no biopsy by Tirad RAS Tirad 3 very probably benign isoechoic no sign no biopsy by Tirad Quack Tirad 4A classified as Tirad 4A one suspicious feature solid biopsy image reporting that system by Quack modified score 4 no malignant feature no risk of malignancy. Another example, thyroid nodule, 3.5 centimeter, spongiform, isoechoic, circumscribed, peripheral vascularity, no wider than teller, no microcalcification. American Thyroid Association classification score for this spongiform more than 2 centimeter, no biopsy done. Society of Radiologists mixed solid cystic more than 2 centimeter biopsy more equal to centimeter biopsy. Tirad RAS Tirad 2 benign feature no biopsy. Tirad Quack at 11. Tirad 4A classification 1 suspicious features biopsy. Image reporting Quack at 13. Score him as score 0 no malignant feature no risk of malignancy. Another example, thyroid nodule 2.7 predominantly solid hypoechoic circumscribed marked vascularity wider than teller no microcalcification. American Thyroid Association mixed hypoechoic increased vascularity more than 1.5 recommended biopsy. Society of Radiologists predominant solid hypoechoic more than 1.5 biopsy. TRAS Tirad 4A mild suspected mild hypoechoic no sign 5 suspicious more than 1 cm biopsy. Recommend Tirad Quack 11 Tirad 4B classification 2 suspicious feature solid component recommend biopsy. Quack at 13 score 2 hypoechoic nothing done. Another example of thyroid nodule 2.5 centimeter solid hypoechoic microlobulated margins vascular wider than teller no microcalcification. Orientation American Thyroid Association classify him as solid hypoechoic more than 1 centimeter biopsy recommendation. Society of Radiologists solid more than 1.5 or equal biopsy. Tirad RAS classify him Tirad 4B highly suspect recommend biopsy. Tirad Quack 11 classifying Tirad 4C 3 suspicious feature solid component hypoechogenicity microlobulated margin recommend biopsy. Quack at 13 score 7 hypoechoic microlobulated no abnormalities no risk of malignancy. This is another examples of thyroid nodule 2.2 centimeter solid hypoechoic irregular margin vascular teller than wide microcalcification. All this is features of malignancy which we talk about. American Thyroid Association solid hypoechoic more than 1 centimeter recommend biopsy. Society of Radiologists microcalcification 1 equal centimeter biopsy. TRAS Tirad 5 highly suspect teller than wide microcalcification irregular margins biopsy. Tirad Quack 11 classify him Tirad 5 suspicious feature recommend biopsy. Quack 13 score 10 recommend biopsy. This is another example thyroid nodule 1.7 solid hypoechoic irregular margins marked vascularity wider than teller microcalcifications. American Thyroid Association solid hypoechoic more than 1 centimeter recommend biopsy. Society of Radiologists solid microcalcification more than 1 centimeter recommend biopsy. Tirad RAS classify him Tirad 5 recommend biopsy. Tirad Quack 11 classify him Tirad 4C recommend biopsy. Image reporting by Quack at 13, score him 9, recommend biopsy. We summarize benign and malignant thyroid nodule features. What this is: benign nodule lesions like benign follicular nodule, adenomatous nodule, colloid nodule, follicular adenoma, Harsel cell carcinoma, thyroiditis, colonic lymphocytic thyroiditis, Hashimoto's nodule. Malignant papillary carcinoma, follicular, Harsel cell, body differentiated, anaplastic carcinoma, medullary carcinoma, lymphoma, metastasis. Okay, what ultrasound features of benign thyroid nodule? 4 features mainly: uniform halo around the nodule, predominantly cystic, avascular, enlarged thyroid with multiple nodule. The spectrum of benign thyroid nodule: this is mostly cystic thyroid nodule with mural component containing flow. This image shows predominant cystic nodule, small solid appearing mural component of U2 color with demonstrate flow with mural component, confirming this is tissue, not debris. Ultrasound guided FNA, this lesion benign. Sagittal image of predominantly solid nodule was proved to be benign. We'll see, will define and halo around them. This is transverse image of mixed solid cystic nodule, which proved to be benign. We see all the halo present around this nodule, and this is features of benign nodule. This is sagittal image predominantly cystic nodule, proved to be benign, and we see cystic nodule as we see this is benign lesions. This is entirely cystic. This is adenomatous nodule, low thyroid stimulating hormone, level 0.1. Transverse ultrasound image show predominantly solid 2-4 cm nodule, 2.4 with well circumscribed margin surrounding halo, benign ultrasound feature. Scintigraphic image show increased uptake on hot nodule and relative photopinia adjacent normal thyroid tissue, outline neck with not well visualized. This is incidentally detected left-sided colloid nodule, as we seen axial T2 well circumscribed, hyperintense 2.2 cm nodule, benign colloid nodule. This is colloid nodule. Ultrasound show predominantly an echoic cystic lesion with thin wall, well circumscribed margins, and mild posterior acoustic enhancement, not the linear echogenic colloid crystal suspended within the fluid. This is all sign of benign ultrasound features. This is chronic lymphocytic Hashimoto's thyroiditis with swollen thyroid. Longitudinal duplex show diffusely heterogeneous thyroid parenchyma, abnormal diffusely increased vascular flow, Hashimoto's nodule. This is Tirad 3. Follicular adenoma, longitudinal color sonogram show right loop thyroid gland show perinodular flow around follicular adenoma. Large toxic follicular adenoma, as we see left loop of thyroid show 4.5 cm nodule that was benign despite the size. Centigram show hot nodule increased uptake, follicular adenoma. This is follicular adenoma, also left loop thyroid, hypoechoic halo present around them. Benign thyroid nodule, as we see right loop of thyroid show colloid nodule with a ring down artifact. This is mycated colloid calcification. What ultrasound features of malignant thyroid nodules? Specific features: microcalcification, extension beyond thyroid margin, cervical lymph node metastasis, paler than white in transverse plane, markedly hypoechoic. Less specific feature: no halo around the nodule, perinodular thyroid parenchyma invasion, ill-defined regular margin, solid partially cystic nodule with eccentric location, of the fluid portion and deliberation of solid component, increase central vascularity, intranodular vascularity. Harsel cell neoplasm in 53-year-old man with palpable thyroid nodule at peripheral examination with predominantly hypoechoic 1.5 solid nodule meets the criteria of biopsy. Papillary carcinoma, as we see, non-toxic multinodular goiter. With this sonogram, we show 2.4 cm solid nodule in lower lobe of the well-defined margin, microcalcification. This is suspicious ultrasound feature. Shadowing macrocalcification also noted. And we see longitudinal sonogram, right lobe 3 additional nodules, 1.5 solid nodule, 1.2 solid another nodule, 2.3 mixed cystic and solid nodule in the right loop, and this is left loop multinodular thyroid. This is criteria of FNA5 needle aspiration biopsy proved to be papillary carcinoma. Body differentiated carcinoma in 81-year-old man with right-sided thyroid mass that was discovered at neck. CT ultrasound show predominantly hypoechoic 5.4 centimeter nodule, ill-defined margin, suspicious ultrasound feature, no adjacent thyroid parenchyma normally seen. Markedly medullary carcinoma, and this is right-sided thyroid nodule. Transverse duplex study shows 2.6 centimeter solid nodule with ill-defined lateral margins and extracapsular extension beyond thyroid margin nodule, thinner than white, and markedly hypoechoic. This is all suspicious features. This is primary thyroid lymphoma. As we see, this is long-standing goiter, 1 month history of progressive neck swelling, and as we see, multiple cervical lymph node, markedly enlarged abnormal left cervical lymph nodes, and this is thyroid lymphoma, abnormally, as we see, diffusely enlarged abnormal heterogeneous thyroid without normal interfering parenchyma, not infiltrative appearance, evidence of extracapsular extension. This is ultrasound suspicious features. Also, we see in CT diffuse replacement of thyroid parenchyma, associated narrowing of the trachea, and lateral displacement adjacent vascular structure. Also, abnormal left cervical lymph node. This is metastatic lung carcinoma, no lung carcinoma, new thyroid nodule, discovered at staging in CT. Duplex scan show mildly heterogeneous hypoechoic 3 cm solid nodule, increased peripheral and central vascularity, increased central vascularity, suspicious features. Thyroid microcalcification, samoma bodies 10 to 100, round, laminar, crystalline, calcific deposits. They are one of the most specific features of thyroid malignancy. Specificity up to 85 and the positive predictive value high. Papillary thyroid carcinoma, and we see this is samoma pudis, round laminar crystalline calcification. Medullary thyroid carcinoma, this is sonogram right loop show large nodule with coarse calcification and posterior acoustic shadowing. This is CT show nodule with an internal focus of coarse calcification. Anaplastic thyroid carcinoma, 84-year-old woman, transverse sonogram show left lobe thyroid, advanced tumor infiltrating posterior margins, and invasion of prevertebral muscle. Axial CT show large tumor that invade prevertebral muscles. Infiltrative primary leiomyosarcoma, left lobe thyroid show tumor, as we see, infiltration from posterior tumor margin into prevertebral muscles. Papillary carcinoma, transverse sonogram, thyroid isthmus, show poorly defined border, marked hypoechogenicity, and the irregular margins without hypoechoic halo. Renal cell carcinoma metastasis, and we see right loop show round hypoechoic nodule with irregular shaped hypoechoic nodule. Color Doppler show increased internal vascularity. Beta cell lymphoma, thyroid with Hashimoto's thyroiditis. Left lobe show large heterogeneous mass. Marked hypoechogenicity compared with strap muscles. A normal isthmus is visible. Internal jugular vein. This is sign marked hypoechogenicity, very suggestive of malignancy. Beta cell lymphoma of thyroid. This solid nodule was proved to be papillary carcinoma. This is aurora of color Doppler, two type A or B Doppler study. According to the resistive index, high resistive index indicative of malignancy. Transverse grayscale image breed on solid thyroid nodule. Color Doppler show marked internal vascularity, indicating increased likelihood nodule in malignancy is papillary carcinoma. What ultrasound feature that should arouse suspicions about lymph node metastasis? Include rounded bulging shape nodule lymph node, increased in size lymph node, replaced fatty hilum, irregular margins, heterogeneous ecotexture, calcification, cystic areas, vascularity throughout nodule instead of normal central vessel at Doppler imaging. Completely uniform halo around nodule, highly suggestive of benignicity with a specific of 85%. This example, papillary carcinoma with cystic lymph node metastasis. We see right lobe of thyroid, irregular hypoechoic tumor, and microcalcification. And this is sonogram, right neck shows cystic level 5 nodal metastasis, internal septation, foci of calcification, and CT also show metastasis, lymph node. This is papillary carcinoma, vascular lymph node metastasis. As we see, tumor had infiltrated entire loop in this image, papillary carcinoma. Right neck, we see level 3 lymph node metastasis, increase the vascularity. CT in contrast enhanced show vascular lymph nodes with target-like appearance. This is papillary carcinoma, cystic lymph node metastasis. As we see in this multinodular thyroid, right lobe show hypoechoic right lobe replaced by anterior large partially cystic level 6 paratracheal nodal metastasis. As we see here, this is mass in the thyroid gland, absence of halo, microcalcifications, papillary carcinoma. This is paratracheal lymph nodes. Several solid benign nodule present. This is multinodular thyroid, confirmed to be papillary carcinoma. Pitfalls in the diagnosis of malignancy, thyroid nodule malignancy: cystic or calcified lymph node metastasis, medullary thyroid carcinoma, and calcified nodal metastasis. Transverse sonogram show lymph node metastasis with coarse calcification, immediately inferior to left lobe of the thyroid. Metastasis mistaken for benign calcified hyperplastic thyroid nodule. This is calcified nodal metastasis in both locations. Cystic calcified lymph node metastasis. Cystic variant of papillary carcinoma, Harsel cell follicular carcinoma. We see in the left lobe of thyroid partially cystic tumor with solid internal projection and the thick wall. Doppler sonogram show increased vascularity in the solid part of the tumor. Rare cystic papillary thyroid carcinoma. As we see, right lobe show complex cystic lesion with thick wall and solid component. Color Doppler show vascularity in small part of the lesion margin, and we see axial CT contrast enhanced show tumor but not clearly depict its complexity. Cystic component occurs in 13 to 26% of all thyroid malignancy. Diffusely infiltrative hypervascular tumor, diffuse follicular variant of papillary thyroid carcinoma. As we see, this woman with thyrotoxicosis mistaken for Graves' disease. ultrasound sonogram of the left lobe show heterogeneously hypoechoic enlarged thyroid, no residual normal thyroid tissue. Color Doppler show increased parenchymal vascularity. CT show right neck lymph node metastasis inferior to the right lobe of thyroid with coarse calcifications, finding suspicious about possible presence of primary thyroid carcinoma. Histologic analysis show this is papillary thyroid carcinoma, diffuse infiltrative pattern of papillary thyroid carcinoma, diffuse infiltrative hypervascular tumor, be mistaken for Graves' disease. Abnormal cervical lymph node, as we see a large node with central punctate echogenesis consistent with microcalcification, show mass effect on internal jugular vein, not to be proven metastatic papillary carcinoma. Sagittal ultrasound for large node with cystic component. This is metastatic papillary carcinoma. ETA guidelines. American Thyroid Association put guidelines for thyroid algorithm of elevation of thyroid nodule. Start by history and do TSH. Of low TSH, we do isotope study. Of normal high TSH, we go to ultrasound. If we found low TSH and we do isotope non-functioning, we do ultrasound again. With diagnostic ultrasound, either no nodule or present of nodule, and later this is algorithm. This algorithm depending firstly on low TSH or normal high TSH. These examples of ATA nodule, American Thyroid Association classifications of thyroid nodule from benign, very low suspicious, low suspicion, intermediate suspicions, high suspicions, benign cyst, low suspicion spongiform, partially cystic, no suspicious feature, partially cystic, no suspicious fissure. Low suspicions, hyperechoic solid regular margins, isoechoic solid regular margin, partially cystic with eccentric solid area, partially cystic with eccentric solid area. Intermediate suspicions, hypoechoic solid regular margin, hypoechoic solid regular margin. High suspicious microcalcification, hypoechoic nodule irregular margin, or hypoechoic irregular margin, hypoechoic tiller than white, hypoechoic irregular margin extrathyroidal extension, hypoechoic as we see interrupted microcalcification with soft tissue extrusion, nodule with irregular margin, suspicious left lateral lymph node. This ETA scope, ETA classification of thyroid nodule. Recommendation from Society of Radiologists Ultrasound Consensus for fine needle aspiration biopsy of 1 cm or larger. We do fine needle aspiration biopsy, strongly consider. Fine needle aspiration biopsy likely unnecessary in a diffusely large gland with multiple nodules of similar ultrasound appearance without intervening parenchyma. Presence of abnormal lymph node overrides ultrasound feature of thyroid nodule should permit ultrasound guided fine needle aspiration or biopsy of lymph node and or ipsilateral nodule. Fine needle aspiration biopsy, as we see, this is thyroid nodules, single or multiple divided classifications. We do how to do fine needle aspiration biopsy. Guided fine needle aspiration biopsy based on ultrasound features. All this indication fine needle aspiration biopsy of more than 1.5 centimeter or more than 2 or equal or more than 2 centimeter. Not necessary if we found simple cyst, none of the suspicious features, or substantial growth more than 50% since previous ultrasound indicated fine needle aspiration biopsy. Suspicious cervical lymph node indicated fine needle aspiration biopsy. Multiple nodule, normal interfering parenchyma, fine needle up to 4 suspicious nodule. No normal interfering parenchyma, fine needle not necessary. Diffuse rapid enlargement of thyroid, fine needle indicated, and so on. This is drawing illustrates fine needle aspiration biopsy with parallel positioning of the needle relative to the ultrasound transducer and thyroid. And this is capillary technique for fine needle aspiration biopsy, and this is multiple suspicious nodule up to 4 such nodule should be considered for fine needle aspiration biopsy. In general, for fine needle aspiration biopsy to be considered diagnostic, adequate minimum of 6 group of follicular cell must be present even to telling all slide. We suggest that core biopsy be performed in addition to FNAB for the sampling of nodules a prior non-diagnostic or indeterminate fine needle aspiration biopsy. Follicular adenoma and follicular carcinoma cannot usually be distinguished with FNAB and are reported as follicular neoplasm. Histologic distinction between follicular adenoma and follicular carcinoma can be made only upon surgical excision by assessing absence adenoma or presence carcinoma of capsular vascular invasion. This is aspiration technique for a fine needle aspiration biopsy. As we see, proper position of biopsy needle oriented perpendicular to ultrasound transducer. Aspiration achieved gentle suction, 10 milli syringe, transverse ultrasound depict needle tip which defined as hyperechoic focus within center of the nodule.